30 years ago. So before most of you thinking about coming to Sewanee. It was mentioned by Henry that in coming to an interview, don't be late. That is absolutely critical. And on the more positive side, get there in plenty of time so that you can sit and relax, rest, whatever you need to do before you go in for an important meeting, settle down. It's extremely important. Don't be in a rushed mood coming into an interview. It's just not going to work for you, and it's not going to work for the person who's interviewing you, because they're going to pick up real quickly that you're not settled. So be sure that you get there in plenty of time. Jake Harper, if you'll come down here for a second, please. Jake, I'm Bill Davis.
Hey, Bill. How
are you? Good. I'm glad you're here for this interview today.
Me too.
You can go sit down. Thank you. Jake, what's the color of my eyes?
I don't know. Brown?
No, blue. When you meet somebody for the first time, you be sure that you look them straight in the eye and look at their eyes to identify what color their eyes are. They will know that you're making eye contact with them. Jake's eyes are kind of a brown-green color. So be sure you get watch eyes. Eyes are red, man. So be sure you get eye contact. It's extremely important. What you're trying to do is you meet somebody for the first time. What are you trying to do in that interview? You're trying to build a relationship. You know, if you're looking down or not quite connecting with somebody, you're going to find it very difficult to build a relationship with that individual. Show appropriate energy. You know, I was met Jake kind of in a friendly way, not overly, friendly, but be appropriate. Dress appropriately. For Merrill, I think, was referring to his son, who went for his interview for med school. Was it appropriate? Not appropriate? You got into med school. But be sure that you dress appropriately. When you walk into somebody's office, observe the surroundings, observe the pictures, maybe family pictures. You begin to say, is this your family? You might have a family picture on the desk or whatever. Begin to relate, find out some information about the person. The state of the office and how somebody's desk is set up will tell you a lot about the person. If it's messy, it says one thing about the person. If it's very straight, it tells you another thing about the person. So you can begin, look at the surroundings, relate to the surroundings. Believe it or not, positioning for the interview is important. Where you sit is important. If I sit across the desk from somebody, I have built a artificial barrier between the two of us. Don't allow that to happen. If you can, sit on the side of somebody. Leslie and Henry here are going to connect better than if I'm across from Jason. Okay? So try to get on a side-by-side kind of relationship with whomever you're interviewing with. How you sit is important as well. If you're leaning forward or if you're leaning back. If the interviewer starts really getting engaged about his business and starts leaning forward, connect with him. Don't sit back and appear to be uninterested. Okay? So again, it's more relating. You're building a relationship. You've got to have active listening. Let me give you an example. Let's assume the interviewer says to you, are you thinking about going to graduate school? What's your response? Well, I haven't thought about it yet, or I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Well, a more appropriate response might be, is going to graduate school important for this job or for my career with you? So again, active listening. Just don't respond to the question. Take it a step further and interject yourself into the conversation in such a way that tells the interviewer that you're really interested in kind of exploring what's important and what's not important in terms of the skill development. Be prepared to ask intelligent questions. The last job that I had was with Northern Trust in Naples, Florida. And I was moving from St. Louis to Naples and was applying for a sales job on the trust and investment management side. I needed to know something about Northern Trust before I got there, so I could ask questions. So I sent my father-in-law in to get their promo material for a new customer. So by the time I got in to do the interview, I had all their propaganda, and I could ask questions about their sales and how they went about approaching clients, what sort of services they offer. Another example, my wife, in moving to Naples, Florida, she was a teacher in St. Louis, and she wanted the opportunity to work in a private school. She'd always worked in a public school and wanted to finish her career in a private school in Naples. And in applying for the job, she had to do a stand-up presentation to students. We decided one of the ways that would make a big impression was that if she got the names of every one of the students in the classroom, every time they asked a question, or if she was in this presentation, she was trying to engage them as I engaged Jake. She knew each one of them by name. Now, you think that didn't impress not only the students, but also the teacher, the people that were watching her for the interview? So again, being prepared going into it. And I get some work time.
35 seconds.
35 seconds. Okay. Appropriate follow-up after the end of interview. Somebody said, make friends with the gatekeeper, the assistant, whoever you're working with. Very important. Send a note. It's been said before. Send a note. Be sure you understand what the follow-up is when you leave that interview room, the appropriate follow-up. And follow up exactly as it has been agreed upon. If you're supposed to follow up a week from now, be sure you follow up a week from now. Be sure that you send a note in between your interview and whatever the appropriate follow-up is. If you get put off, be sure you understand what the follow-up is after that, so that you do, again, have the opportunity to get in front of either the gatekeeper and or the person you're interviewing with for the job. If you get the job, send a note. If you don't get the job, send a note. You never know when that opportunity might arise again with either that company or somebody that individual knows who might lead you to some other opportunity. Okay?
Thank you, Bill.